Tell me about the house. Tell me a little of the history that you were just telling
The,
me.
the history of the house was started in 1906 and completed in 1908. And the people that have lived here have always done so many things for the town. There's a church in town that has a window that has W.D. McKee on it because he did so many things for the town. The town was evolved around W.D. McKee. The people that worked here worked for W.D. McKee. They worked downtown for W.D. McKee. That everybody in this area, if you ever said Leetonia, they'd say, "Oh, down by the farm, W.D. McKee's place." There's just too many things to think about that you just can't come up with words right at the moment to say about this place. They've done so many things for the people in this town.
Tell me about the house itself. How big was it? How
The house itself had 18 fireplaces. There were 9 chimneys. There were 8 bathrooms. There were 8 bedrooms. They had the big clawfoot tubs, great big cast iron. Everything was all antique, everything. There was no modern furniture in the house whatsoever.
you were saying, your son was saying some of the stuff that the family had collected dates back to the 1700s?
Oh, the 1700s easily were so many artifacts that Mrs. Eustace, and I can say that so many times because there's so many Mrs. Eustaces, that they collected things for the house. There were so many artifacts that they could get back in the day. You know, you'd go to an auction house and you'd be surprised what you could come home with. There was a mirror that had the big eagles that was bevel-shaped, curved, and you'd think that would be in the White House. And she got it at an auction house. They went to the auction houses in New York and in so many countries. They had things shipped from overseas. It was a marble fireplace, and it had stamps on the crate. I opened the crate. It hadn't been opened since they shipped it here from probably the 40s, and they mailed it. It had stamps on it, little 1-cent stamps, a bunch of them.
You were saying you worked here 25 years.
I've worked here
Your
25
son and
years.
Working.
My son and both daughter, yeah,
This
both
was
worked
not
here.
only just a McKee generation, but workers' generation.
Workers' generations. Before me, the one woman that worked here, her daughter and son both worked here. And the people that lived on the property, they worked here, and their sons grew up and daughters grew up on the farm, knowing the McKees and knowing the Eustaces. And it's a big, big loss. The whole entire house is completely gone.
The Mrs. Eustace lived here, but there were also, you were saying,
Her son and her daughter are.
But you folks basically maintained this property.
Yeah. There's 500 acres here, and we have a tenant farmer that farms the ground. And me and the boys, we mow the grass and cut the trees down, and ones that fall down, and we take care of the grounds. There's 60 acres of grass that we mow. 6 acres we bag. The trees are enormous. There's so many leaves that we do in the fall.
And Mrs. Eustace lived here by
Mrs.
herself.
Eustace, she's 92 years old. She lived here by herself. Her husband just died a couple years ago. He and she lived here for a number of years by themselves. Their son lived on the property for a number of years. Their other son lives in a different state.
Now,
Just so much.
and it's horrible. Now it's just memories.
That's all it is. There's no physical things you can hold on to throughout the whole house.
Have you talked to Mrs. Eustace? Is she okay?
I haven't talked to her this morning. She last night sat here and watched her house disappear. And she feels that she can come back. I talked to her granddaughter. She thinks that she can come back and get her belongings out of the house. She's in a ghost. She's lost right at the moment. For the loss of her house is gone. Everything that she has ever had, ever since she was a child, is gone. Her and her husband, they knew each other since they were 6 and 7 years old. And all that history is all gone.
So there were 8 generations that lived in this house?
8 generations have. 5 generations have lived in the house. 8 generations of belongings are in the house. because of the previous. They keep things. It was, this house was built with a man that had he and his wife and one child, a daughter. But the house wasn't built for he and his wife and his daughter. The house was built for his entire family that would come from Pennsylvania and different parts of the country. And they didn't just walk here. They drove a horse and buggy to get here. And you didn't go to somebody's houses just to spend the night. You went to somebody's houses and you spent months at their house because it took you weeks to get here.
Sure.
And there was a carriage house to this house. There's a lot of things. On the third floor, there was so many trunks just full of old clothes, old dresses, old wedding gowns.
Now, what relation were the Eustaces to the McKeefreys?
He married Mrs. McKee. Felix married the daughter of Mr. McKee. So then it became Eustace, but it's still called McKee Farm.
Sure.
It's all it's been ever called.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.